All right, welcome to another episode. Mojo and the Jet is always joined by Andy with interesting shirt. I just realized I like that shirt. It's nice.
Oh, it's
You
good,
just
right?
get that?
Yeah. It was a gift. I got it yesterday. It's a nice shirt.
It's a nice shirt. I like that. So, just a quick little sports episode. I felt like we wanted to wait until the first round was completely over, but I felt like after that amazing first game from the Heat, I felt like we had to talk about it. So, I don't know where you want to start. You want to start with the Heat, or you want to start with the other series?
I want to start with the Heat, and I want to start by talking about my dick a little bit because it hasn't been this hard in many, many years. That fourth quarter was the most fun I've had in my by myself watching a Heat game in a very fucking long
Oh yeah.
time. Easily, I mean, because they mentioned it during the broadcast, the Heat haven't won a playoff series since 2016. If we take it back, 2016 was, I believe we beat Charlotte in the first round in 7 games, a shit show of a series. And then we lost in 7 to the Raptors, which was a whole thing when Hassan got hurt, whatever. That whole series, and it would have been cool to play LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. That didn't happen. But what I realized, watching this team versus thinking back to that team as just a comparison of, the two best Heat teams we've had in a while, that team was nowhere near as good as this team is. So that team was achieving certain things, but if you really looked at the roster, it's I mean, they can't really, they're not going to go anywhere type shit. I am a full believer in this team. They have all the tools on deck. Everything is hitting on fucking 100. I don't know what to tell you. I'm fucking hyped.
No, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this even if you go further than 2016, I mean, because 2016 was cool, I guess we made the playoffs, whatever. But this hasn't been this fun since, I would argue,
The Big Three era.
not even just the Big Three era, but 2013 specifically. Because 2014, I feel like in the back of our head, we enjoyed it. We already knew we were gonna make the finals again a lot, but in the back of our head, I feel like we all knew that LeBron was gonna leave.
Yeah, 2014 wasn't really.
Yeah.
I think as a Heat fan, and I think a lot of people will probably agree on this, the iconic, there's 2 seasons that everyone kind of gravitates to, and it's 2013 with the 20-something wins in a row, the 66-win team,
Yep.
the Ray Allen fucking buzzer beater, one of the best finals in recent history, maybe ever. Yeah. And the 06 championship run, because it was the first one, and it was the best Wade we ever got, right?
Exactly.
But I don't think any of us really look back on the 2014 season fondly, because everyone was kind of even the players were notably everyone said oh, they're tired of this shit already, and I think the fans were kind of tired of it too, where it's
yeah, you could tell everyone. Yeah, everyone was tired. I think we all in the back of our head knew that LeBron was gonna end up leaving, so that season wasn't that fun. Let's be honest.
We were going through the motions. There was already year 4. Everything was kind of there in place. The only hope we had of LeBron staying was if we won again, and at that point it was he can't fucking leave, right? But we knew that if that didn't happen, he was gone, and the Spurs fucking handed it to us.
That's an understatement.
That was a painful series.
Yeah. So, I mean, just back to today. I mean, that game 1, holy shit. We've been saying it all year, right? I feel like if you're a Heat fan, if you're from Miami, you knew how good this team could be. Me and you were saying that they could even be as good as the 3 seed, going all the way back before the season even started. You could go listen to the first podcast before the season started. I think we both had them as a 3 seed. So we knew it.
Yeah,
but there was national media and people that don't watch the Heat. Haggis has barely an 8 seed, barely making the fucking playoffs for some reason.
Yeah.
And now everyone's hopping on. Everyone, before the series started, everyone was picking us. And people are finally starting to realize this team is fucking good, man. They play well together. And at the end of the day, we have one of the best coaches in the fucking league, man. I'll push Spo against anyone.
No, I would too. And I think it goes back to what I was saying. Yeah, we've had fun teams in the past, but this is one of those teams where if it feels like they could make some fucking, and I'll be honest, I've been skeptical about this team in spurts during the year, because they were kind of inconsistent at times, and they would hit these spurts where the offense was fucking non-existent and they were stagnant and shit would just go south. And Jimmy Butler this year forgot how to shoot. right? And then there was times where I was like, we can't fucking do anything. Even before the season got shut down, the Heat were struggling. They were playing pretty fucking bad. They had hit a rough patch there. Yeah. But then I think it has partly to do. I don't know if we would get this same kind of Heat team if this was a regular NBA season. Like if the season would have progressed normally and everything was going, like, you know, home court was still a thing, the playoffs would have been in June, like everything was normal. I don't know if we get this Heat team because I think a lot of it has to do with, like you said, coaching. And I think it's just the Heat. I mean, it's very cliche, but the Heat culture. People, like, all the fucking media is raving about Heat culture because it, like, fits the bubble. Like, they don't give a fuck about anything. It's you work your ass off and we're going to take care of business. And the bubble, I guess it suits us in a way. Home field doesn't matter. Nothing fucking matters. There's no travel. It's go and kill your opponent. And the Bucks game was a hell of a game. It was close, but we fucking put it to them at the end. And we saw Jimmy Butler do what we signed him to do.
And just to touch on, like, before we get into the actual game, just to touch on, like, the culture stuff. I mean, Jimmy kind of set the tone for everyone from the beginning. I mean, he just had, like, before, I think it was before the game or maybe after the game, that he invited no family. He said this was a business trip. You saw Goran did the same thing. I don't know who else did the same. Maybe
I like that quote. But
that's,
said, this is the business trip.
Yeah, these guys see that and they're like, shit, that's the best player on our team, and he didn't invite his family because that's how serious he's taking this. Then you know what, we gotta go hard for this guy. Like that's a big deal, man. It is.
It's a big deal, and it all, like, it's the whole organization. Because even when the game was going on, they were touching on, like, it's a good head coaching matchup. But if you're gonna talk about pedigree and playoff experience, Spo kills him, because Budenholzer has been shitted on before, or shot on, whatever you want to say, because he's not. I don't know what adjustments. He's not the best at adjustments, right? So he just rolls with whatever's been working all year, and if it doesn't work, we're fucked.
Pretty much.
And we kind of saw that happen to him last year with that. The Bucks team was good. They fell apart against the Raptors. Those Hawks teams from a couple years ago, the teams are good. They fell apart
because he would never adjust to shit.
Yeah, and they got their asses handed to them by the Cavaliers, and that team was like 60-something wins. They shouldn't have lost. They should have lost, but not that badly, right?
Yeah.
And then we've seen, like, Spo has his pedigree of not only adjustments during the season, but in the playoffs.
I mean,
he'll completely scrap what they've done all year, and it's like, this is what's gonna work. We're gonna do this now.
I mean, I'm almost positive, since, like, maybe even before the All-Star break, he's probably had our closing lineup that we have now. He's probably had that closing lineup in mind forever, and the balls to hold that shit to the playoffs. I mean, that just goes to show how good he is. Like, he didn't show his card at all, and no one expected that. If you would have told me that Tyler Hero was going to be fucking closing playoff games at 19, 20 years old, I'd be like, you're fucking stupid.
And I don't think we saw – another thing is that, like, you know, the casual fan would say, oh, why isn't Duncan Robinson in Duncan barely plays fourth quarters. And it's not because Duncan is bad. It's just because Duncan does what Duncan does, and our closing lineup is fucking disgusting. It's Clamp City. And Tyler is the de facto shooter in that lineup because he's a little bit better, you know, playmaking wise. He fits that role better in that lineup.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think as soon as the trade got done for Jay Crowder and Iguodala, I think he knew what that lineup was going to be like. I think he's like, yeah, we're probably going to roll with this, but I'm not going to show people this yet. And he did it because Iggy looked like shit. I mean, that's another thing that, like, the break helped. Iguodala got his legs. He started working out. He did whatever the fuck. And he became Iguodala again, which is a disgusting perimeter defender. And we saw that plain as day in the first game. Jay Crowder, arguably more important than Iguodala at some points, because he's a starter now, and he's fucking wet.
And he's knocking down threes and playing elite defense.
And I think I tweet this like every other Heat game or like every week. I fucking love Jay Crowder.
I love him. If we could find a way to re-sign him and keep him, if 1 year deal, or I don't know how, I would love it.
He's worth, I would say, like $8-10 million a year as a role player. I think that's worth it. If we can pull that off, I don't know what the numbers are looking like or what his market is, but I would love to have him back.
For sure.
But it just goes, like, to Spoelstra's adjustments. Two guys that were starters the entire year in Myers Leonard and Kendrick Nunn basically became obsolete.
Yeah.
And Kendrick Nunn wasn't used in the first round matchup because Spoelstra didn't feel like we needed him. And now we're putting him back in because, all right, matchup dictates that he can do some damage. And he played well. in
Yeah,
limited
no.
minutes.
And he
But
and he what surprised me about none, he plays some defense.
he played some fucking defense,
Yeah.
and this is like more analytical, but like the basketball people, it's like the Bucks, their drop coverage is what they do. They're gonna let you shoot threes, but they're not gonna allow shit at the rim. So there's a gap. They're tough on the three because all their guards are like fucking Tasmanian devils going over those screens. And you saw that in part, Duncan couldn't really get shit going. But there's that mid-range gap between the 3-point line and the paint where certain people can get the shots off. Jimmy's good in the mid-range, Goran. And Nunn is probably the best pull-up shooter we have, if we're being honest. And we saw that, I think, throughout the regular season. When he would get hot, that was his shot. He would, that little midi was dropping. And it was interesting to see, like, were they going to go with Derrick Jones as that last guy off the bench, or is it going to be Nunn to fill that void? And as Spoelstra does, he said, fuck what we did last round. We're going to adjust to this team. Derrick Jones didn't fucking see the court.
Yeah, I don't think he will unless the 4 defenders that we have right now to throw at fucking Giannis end up getting in foul trouble. I think that's the only way we'll ever see him.
What a fucking game!
Wow, I mean,
I was fucking screaming in my room. I was sending out obscene tweets.
Yeah. I keep pointing it out, but we won that game with Duncan going 1 for 4 and Tyler going 3 for 11.
I don't even it said. And Tyler had you see the boxer and you're like, he played like shit, but Tyler had a good game. He
solid game. 3 for 11, 3 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He was fine. 11 points.
He hit a huge shot in the fourth quarter.
That he hit, that massive 3. I mean, but still, it wasn't his best game.
No,
and definitely nowhere near Duncan's best game. I mean, we see what he could do. Any given night, he could drop 8, 9 threes on your fucking head.
You forget that Duncan was even a part of that game because I feel like after the third quarter, we barely saw him. It's like, yeah, Duncan's where the fuck is Duncan? Like, no one cared because the flow of the game was still good.
He played 26 minutes, but he was literally out there because they played him well. Let's be honest. They played him well. They gave him no fucking space.
Those fucking screens, they jump over those screens like crazy. Yeah. And Eric Bledsoe didn't play. But even then, like, I think Frank Mason was the one that got his minutes. He got like 5 minutes. Everyone, like, it just they increased the minutes for everyone else.
Budenholzer, I don't understand. Like, he gave Frank Mason some minutes, which is weird, right? It was only like 5 minutes, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, but at that point, just
it wasn't even 5. It was 2 minutes.
Just make George Hill play the entire fucking game. I don't know.
Right, I don't know. So they didn't have Bledsoe in this game, which, I mean, in my opinion, wouldn't have made much of a difference.
Not much.
Because on the defensive side, he would have made stuff a little bit harder for like Goran and our guards. He's a good defender. But on the on the other side of the ball, we just let him shoot. It's easier for us to help on Giannis, to be honest, because he's not the best shooter. I have no problem with if Bledsoe beats us from the 3, then whatever. I mean, that was just a lucky fucking game. That's not gonna happen often, right?
And another thing that's an excellent point. I think you do let him shoot, but another thing that's funny about game 1 is that Giannis was hitting his jumpers early on. Yeah. And I was like, if he fucking hits 3-pointers, we're fucked.
I was on Discord with Alan, and I'm like, okay, that's the shot you wanted to take all day. I'm fine with him taking that all fucking day.
I think, I don't want to misspeak, but I think he hit 3 threes, like early on in the game, because I think ultimately he only ended up with 18 points, right? We contained him. But I was watching that game.
Two threes.
Well, they were like pull-ups, and they were good. Yeah. I was like, shit, if he's going to fucking hit threes, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, okay, all of that happened, right? Chris Middleton, fantastic game early on. Brook Lopez
did nothing in the second half.
Killing us. Giannis early on was doing well. He got into foul trouble, but he was hitting his shots, right? He was hitting jumpers. All of those good things happened.
Miss, man.
No.
They shot 45% from 3.
No. They were on fire. And
they didn't miss, and we still won this game.
That's the point that I'm coming to. All of those good things happened for the Bucks, and we still won. And if you look at it from the Heat perspective, nothing we did in that game is unsustainable. Jimmy Butler can do that whenever he wants. It's not like Jimmy Butler magically, he had a jump shot before. This guy, for some reason, either forgot how to shoot or the fact that he shot less this year, his rhythm was off.
Way off, Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler has a jump shot.
To me,
Jimmy Butler's been an assassin.
He looks like he has his legs back, right?
Yeah.
You could see the lift to him when he shoots now.
And we would talk about it. When he was missing jump shots, they were always short. And
you would be like, he looks tired. His legs, you could tell he looks tired.
So from that aspect, so let's say like, oh, Jimmy's not gonna drop 40 every game. Sure, but he's gonna take over in the fourth quarter because that's what he fucking does.
Yeah.
Right. And then everything else that he did, no one else had like a ballistic game. Duncan Robinson didn't do shit. We talked about Hero, whatever. Jay Crowder's been doing this all playoffs. He hits his shots.
Well, I mean,
Iguodala played defense.
Gordon had a hell of a game.
Gordon has had a hell of a game every single game this postseason.
Yeah, the whole playoffs, yeah.
So, like, no one did anything out of the norm except if you want to nitpick and say, oh, Jimmy had 40 and he hit his jump shots. Everything else is perfectly fucking normal. We can do that every single game. And if anything, we can get better because if the jumpers are falling for Duncan and for Tyler, I think we're good, man.
So what I was getting to about like Bug and his lineups, man, brother, it's the playoffs. Pat Connaughton, 25 minutes. Come on, dog.
They also mentioned this in the broadcast. He's one of the few coaches that when it comes to playoff time, he doesn't like really shrink his rotation.
Bro, I noticed that early on because I mean I didn't watch much fucking Bucks Magic, but first game when he took out Giannis, that first like switch to the lineup that he did, he already gone 10 deep, and it was like 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, how
are we 10 deep already?
People were making jokes on Twitter. It's like, oh, he's doing hockey shifts. He's taking out entire lineups. Like,
yeah.
It was 2K switches. Like four players come out.
The only person that does that shit is like Pop when he's pissed at the lineup. We've seen him do that shit. Yeah,
but that's to prove a point. This guy does that because that's his rotation.
Yeah, that's just his normal thing, and it's weird as fuck. It's like, why?
And it's like, and we've known this for years because, Spoelstra's been our head coach for so long that everyone knows come playoff time, whatever we're doing the regular season, number one, it's usually not going to stick. Like, there's going to be changes. Yeah. And number two, the rotation is going to shrink drastically.
I mean, that happens to every team, though.
Most teams.
Except the Bucks, I guess.
Most teams end up playing like 8 or 9 guys, right?
Exactly.
So you have like a big man, a wing and a guard. Usually is the ones that get like the bulk of the playoff minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's sprinkled in a little Kane Nunn as that 9th man, but it's fine. But 10, 11 people deep, I don't know, brother.
No, man, there's no way.
It's like, and they were talking about it. They're like, oh, he does this to keep his players fresh and to keep up the energy.
My guy, Giannis
defense.
played 30 minutes every game all year. How much fresher does he need to be? It's the playoffs. You have to have your best players on the floor.
That's what it comes down to. Like, yes, I understand you want to get after it defensively and you're the best defensive team in the league and this and that. But these minutes are fucking invaluable. You cannot have your 10th man out there running around. You at that point, fuck it.
I mean,
if they're tired, they're tired. You got to play.
It's exactly what I'm saying. Pat Connaughton, 25 minutes. That shouldn't happen.
Pat Connaughton's not terrible. He's a good regular season guy.
Happen. I'm sorry. That shouldn't happen.
No, fuck that. You got to shrink it. Actually, don't shrink it. Do whatever the fuck you want. We're going to
good, better for us. Keep going 10, 11 deep. I don't give a fuck. We're just going to keep torching you. I really don't care.
Case in point, I think we're in good position. I don't think anything they did nothing really scares me. Giannis, we've played him well for not even just this year. We played Giannis well last year too. And this year we have the Bucks numbers. So I think we have a track record of keeping him contained. I guess the series comes down to Chris Middleton, I guess. But even him, we shut him down. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we're good.
I think the difference is, Chris Middleton. I mean, Chris Middleton has to outplay Jimmy Butler for them to win.
Sure.
And how many games I don't see Chris Middleton now playing Jimmy Butler for 4 games out of a 7-game series. I'm sorry.
Not when you put him in the fucking clamp cycle. No.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
And again, bro, I feel like, I don't know, maybe we dick right Spoelstra, but it's like a thing. The adjustment in the second half, Chris Middleton torched us. And in the second half, they threw like 3 people at him at a time.
Yeah.
Whenever he would catch the ball, just fucking bodies.
Yep.
Bodies everywhere. And what did Chris Middleton do? Start throwing up fucking ducks. All of a sudden, he couldn't hit a shot anymore. So it's like, okay, you're going to light us up with Chris Middleton? We'll figure this out. Here you go. Have some fucking players.
Easy.
Brook Lopez, nothing in the second half.
I'm kind of we're hyping ourselves up, obviously. I mean, I still stand by Heat in 6, but at the end of the day, this is the 1 seed. They still have the MVP. They still have the defensive player. It wouldn't surprise me tonight if we see Giannis come out and go fucking insane. You get me?
Sure.
So I don't want to act like, Heat are gonna fucking sweep this series easy, like the Bucks are just pushovers. You feel me?
No.
We gotta give the Bucks a credit. They're gonna come back. Like,
I mean, game 1 wasn't an easy game. It was a fun game because it was close. Yeah, we were going at it all night. Like, it was a back and forth battle. It's just at the end we kind of pulled away, and I don't see blowouts on either side of this.
No.
Unless we have one of those infamous terrible third quarters and we can't recover. But I think all the games are gonna be like nip and tuck like that, close unto the end. Yeah, 5 or 6 games. I don't know. I guess we'll see tonight.
I still stand by 6, but if it goes like anything how the first game went, it might be 5. I'm not gonna lie.
And I was gonna say, like, if from the Bucks perspective, I don't know what you do differently.
Like, I mean, so we can touch on that. I mean, they already said apparently today that they're gonna try to focus on stopping Jimmy with the ball in his hand. That just makes everything easy. Jimmy's gonna go out there and drop 15 assists, and Duncan's gonna have like 20-something points.
Immediately when I saw that article, that's what I said. I said, okay, they're gonna stop Jimmy. That means someone's gonna be open. Duncan Robinson is gonna light them up.
Exactly.
I hope that's the way it goes.
So I mean, I'd like to point out. I mean, shout out to 5 Reasons Sports for this one, but Duncan Robinson has never had 2 bad games back to back.
This is true. This is true.
Unless this is the first time it happens, expect a big Duncan game.
I'll go on a limb right here, right now. I'm willing to bet that the first basket of tonight's game is going to be a Duncan Robinson 3 because I feel like
a dribble handoff from Bam. Guaranteed.
Always. Guaranteed. I feel like every time he has a bad game, the next game starts off the same way. Dribble handoff, top of the key, bang.
Can we talk about? We haven't even, we're talking about everyone. We haven't even touched on Bam. I mean, talk about just doing what he needs to do. 17 rebounds,
monster game on the fucking glass.
17 rebounds
and elite clamps.
You know, when I realized that, like, we really don't give a fuck that this is the 1 seed. We don't give a fuck that Giannis is on the other side. When Bam drove in on Giannis and absolutely bodied him,
crushed him, and he missed.
If you want, we could get into Bam's finishing at the rim. I don't know what the fuck was happening in that game.
It was rough. He looked like me out there.
Yeah. But when I saw that, I was like, we don't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, we're coming at their fucking necks.
Man, those are the kind of misses. Oh, what the hell? Those are the kind of misses that even though he missed, they're encouraging because the thing that everyone always harps on Bam is that his offense isn't to the point where you can give him the ball and let him go to work. But he was being aggressive. Yes, he missed.
Jab step?
Oh, yeah. He missed.
Jab step? Did you know
think he missed that? He missed like an easy layup, and then the dunk after he pushed Giannis out the fucking way, he missed that one as well. But I was fucking hype. I was like, that's a fucking power move.
Have you ever seen anyone do that to Giannis? I've never seen anyone body Giannis like that.
No, I can't. I'm sure there's a video out there somewhere. Maybe I don't recall.
Joel Embiid, maybe?
He pushed him out the way.
Yeah. He pushed him out the way. Get the fuck out the way. He didn't yam it, which is unfortunate.
He missed, yeah.
Yeah. And then the jab step. I didn't know he had the mellow jab step in him.
Well, boy, does he.
I mean,
I think this was already in the fourth quarter. I was already bursting at the seams here. When he hit the Chris Bosh elbow jumper, it was left corner. He fucking pulled it, banged it. I was like, that's it. We're gonna win this game because everything was going our way. And what a game! I hope today. I've had a fantastic day.
For context, it's 5:30. The game starts in an hour, so
yeah, I've had a great day. I've had a very pleasant day. So I hope that this game is good, it's fun, and that we win, so that I can end this beautiful day on a high note. Because that would absolutely crush me if we took it out today.
I think we win this game, and I think it comes. I think we see a big Duncan game. Is Bledsoe playing?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think Goran still does what Goran wants.
I don't give a fuck.
So yeah, I think we win today, and that's it.
Like to say, the heat is on.
Yes, sir. All right. So, which series do you want to get into first? Because I have thoughts on both of them. Do you want to get?
Rockets Clippers. Jesus, Rockets. OKC hasn't happened yet, so let's dive into last night's game 7. Hell of a game, also. Hell of a game in context.
Yeah, not a hell of a game. Denver. You can tell everyone was fucking tired.
Utah, Denver. First of all, it was a great series. One of the most fun, like back and forth, like elite play from two guards I think I've ever seen in a series.
100%.
fucking Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell were lighting that shit up. And then for it to come down to game 7 and it's so fucking close in the fourth quarter, the way that game ended, that has to go down as one of the. I get it, it's Utah and Denver, and it's a first round series, but that's one of the greatest series I think I've ever watched myself.
It was entertaining. It was really, really, really fucking entertaining. The
Utah
one
choked.
question, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. But
did they though? Because they shouldn't have been in that series. They had no business.
It shouldn't. They should have never been up 3-1.
I remember when we were talking, like, before the playoffs kicked off, we were like, Denver should mop the floor with Utah. Utah was playing like shit in the fucking in the seeding games. Bogdan, a big part of their offense, hurt. They weren't at full strength, and you can tell that they were kind of struggling. And then the fucking playoffs start, and Donovan Mitchell's going ballistic, and they win 3 games. And it's like, fuck, I guess. But I was like, if they make it to the next round, they're gonna get smacked. Because he can't keep this up against everyone, right?
Any of them, yeah.
Sure. But and then fucking Jamal Murray goes ballistic, and they win 3 in a row.
So we were talking. It hadn't happened yet, but I mean, it was after game 2 and 3, and Murray was playing like shit those games 2 and 3. It was bad.
Wasn't it game 1?
He had a bad game.
Bad game 1.
No, he had a solid game 1. He dropped like 37. Then 2 and 3 was bad. Then 4, 5, and 6 is when he dropped 50, 40 something, and then 50.
Okay, I knew there was a stretch in there where he played terrible.
Yeah. So 2 and 3 were the bad games, and we were talking about how inconsistent he is, all that. So my question is, after seeing game 4, 5, and 6, are you buying bubble Jamal Murray? Like, was this a leap for him, or next year are we going to see the same inconsistencies?
I've never been much of a Jamal Murray guy. I've always been a little bit on the fence about him in general, just because I think that he's not really like point guard. He's kind of like a scoring guard, and I was like, oh, the fit is kind of weird.
Like a Kyrie.
But I guess Kyrie has better passing ability, better vision type shit. But and then, we've seen Jamal Murray go off in the past, but I don't think we've ever seen him do this in an entire series. No. And I think he played so well and on a big stage. Even yesterday, he was kind of struggling, but he made up for it like in the past 6 minutes. I think this is a big enough like series, big enough moment where it's like a leap for next year, where I think he's going to build off this. And I think a lot of that inconsistency we saw in the past is going to slowly fade away. I think he's on the rise. I don't see this as like I don't think this is an illusion or a making of the bubble. I think this is solid.
I think it was like for him to say, "Yo, we're down 3-1." Jokic, you're not playing like the best center in the league.
Jokic was playing like shit per se.
I'm gonna put you in the fucking book bag, and fuck it. If I gotta drop 50 over the next 3 games just to get us to game 7, I'm gonna do it. And that's exactly what he did.
And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And Jokic had a good game yesterday, but Jokic was a lot of the blame. I remember, like, when the series was 3-1, most of the blame was like, oh, Jokic has to be better. He's the best player on that team.
On both sides.
Top 10 player in the league, and he was a non-factor. Rudy Gobert was fucking demolishing him, which shouldn't be the case.
No.
There was one game where he was making Rudy Gobert look like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That can't happen, right? And then so Jamal Murray kept him afloat until Jokic decided to start playing again. I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
It
was a team effort, all in all. Like, they all played better. But without Jamal Murray, they lose that series. So big lead.
100%.
And even Gary Harris coming back, I think is important for them.
He played some good. He still can't shoot for shit. I don't understand what happened to that guy.
He's another
he still can't shoot for anything.
The Marco Fultz, Jimmy Butler, like forgetting how to jump shoot.
Yeah, but it's been 2 years with him. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. But defensively, he played well, and I think this is a lead for Jamal Murray. I think he's going to continue this style of play into the future, into next year specifically. So I think that contract they gave him was warranted. And if Michael Porter Jr. becomes who they think he will become, and they're pretty much set
they're in a good spot
for the foreseeable future.
A trade away from like actually contending, in my opinion. What
about Donnie?
Well, Donnie, I kind of want to tie it back to Heat. Donnie is getting a max extension soon when free agency starts, so we can scratch him off the list of guards that we wanted. No, I mean it was going to be hard to get him regardless.
Everyone made a
But
big fucking
yeah,
deal about how upset he was and how upset he looked. But let's be fucking real here.
everyone takes that first contract.
No one
Everyone.
leaves after year
Yeah.
4. No superstar caliber person that gets drafted and they're like, oh, this guy's a fucking franchise cornerstone. No one ever leaves after the first contract.
Yep.
The only one that finesses way out of like not even the first contract, because even like LeBron left after the second contract. LeBron left year 8, right?
Yeah.
Going to year 9.
Mm-hmm.
Melo didn't make it to the end of the second year contract because he got traded, but he
AD
signed.
didn't make it to the second contract.
Right, but he signed. You get me? So everyone signs that contract. They don't fucking leave after year 4.
No, of course not. You take the bag and then you force your way out if you need to.
Bradley Beal, another one.
Yeah.
You take the bag. Everyone takes the bag, and I thought it was unrealistic to think that whatever like discontent he had with Gobert or with the franchise was going to be enough to push him out the door.
Now, with that said, I do think they have a problem. You can tell just body language, everything. He does not like Gobert. There's definitely something there.
They were kind of chummy at certain points of the game, but I think maybe that's just heat in the moment. You guys are playing well. Gobert had a good game, like almost 20 rebounds, even though he was playing shit in the first half. But I think
they have a problem. They're gonna have to figure. I don't know.
Well, I think
they're gonna resign. They're gonna resign Gobert. I mean, he's eligible for the Supermax. Obviously, they're not giving him the Supermax, but he's gonna be eligible for the Supermax this year.
Are you sure they won't give him the Supermax?
No, the Jazz are not fucking stupid, right?
I don't know.
I feel like Donnie would be even more pissed if they gave him the Supermax.
I think the Jazz have a good roster.
Yeah,
Bogdan is really good, and he was missing. And
the only question mark is I feel like they still haven't quite figured out the whole Conley and Gobert and Conley and Mitchell thing. I feel like they still haven't figured that out.
Yeah. Conley still, I thought Conley hit that shot. By the way,
I thought so too.
What a shit show of an ending that was. But I mean, Conley's an excellent player. I think I dare say their biggest problem is probably that front court, which is like, the 4 and the 5. Like, what are they going to do with Gobert? Who's going to play power forward? They don't really have one per se. They would play small. Yeah. They're not going to resign Millsap. Millsap has been a non-factor for them for like the past 2 years. It's going to be interesting to see, like, what is going to be Donovan Mitchell's breaking point? Like, what's the year and what happens where he's like, fuck AD. This, I'm out.
AD. I think it's just like AD. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be like 2 years before the contract is up.
But AD never had a consistently good team. Donovan Mitchell still hasn't missed the playoffs. They've been in it. And made strides.
Yeah,
AD's teams were always atrocious.
That's true.
So I think it's going to take a catastrophic meltdown similar to this one.
Yeah, maybe just more first-round exits. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. But I'm not surprised that he took the money, and I'm not surprised he stayed there. And actually, good for him, because I'm kind of a bitch in terms of I hate when – I don't hate it, but it makes me feel bad for the cities and for franchises when they draft like a fucking Hall of Fame caliber like potential guy and then they lose him. It makes me feel bad because I want disparity. I want teams to grow their people, and I want them to be good. So, Utah already went through that with Gordon Hayward.
They kind of fucked that one up, though.
Sure, they did. But, I like when people stay with their teams. But
yeah, I agree.
But I would love to get anyone to the Heat.
I guess just to put a ball on that, Nuggets are going to lose to the Clippers in 5.
Sure.
I'll give them one, like maybe Jokic or Jamal Murray game.
I'm not going to argue with you there.
They have too many people to throw at Murray, like way too many people.
I'll give them one like Murray game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They'll get one.
Might even be
Paul George plays like shit again, but even then, I think they have enough to take him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not a series.
Yeah.
I think they would have kicked Utah's ass even worse, but.
Oh, for sure.
That would have been a fucking kill.
Not even fucking close. They would have gotten even worse. Yeah.
Right.
So to finish it off, Rockets and OKC.
This is what I wanted to ask you. This is my question to you as far as this game. Does this mean more to Chris Paul as you guys got rid of me? You thought I was washed. I took this fucking bottom feeder team. We made the playoffs, and we're on the cusp of eliminating you in the first round. Or does it mean more for James Harden and Russell Westbrook to pull this one out?
It means
Where,
more.
which way are you leaning here?
It means more to Harden.
Okay.
Because you
I'm
didn't
leaning the
want
same
him.
way.
You didn't
Right.
want him. You traded him away. And now he's coming back and he's beating your ass.
With a far inferior team.
With a team that wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs to begin
Let's not
with.
forget.
That team was supposed to tank.
Let's go that far back. Number one, there was a point in the offseason where players that had signed with OKC, as soon as this trade happened, OKC's like, yeah, we're not trying to do shit this year. If you guys want, you can, get out of your contracts and go sign somewhere else. And a couple of people did that, right? I think Alec Burks was one of them, and there was someone else that had signed with OKC. They pulled back out. Then the season starts, and they're kind of good, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, okay." We get to the trading deadline, and then the whole fucking thing is, do they keep it together because they're pretty good and they're gonna make a run, or do they blow it up? And they were this fucking close to saying, "Fuck the playoffs, we're gonna get some shit back for Gallinari." That was the trade to us. They were very close to saying, "Fuck this year, we're gonna blow it up anyways," even though they were good.
Right.
But they didn't. They stuck to their fucking guns, and now they're one game away from eliminating the vastly superior, I would say, Houston Rockets, who got rid of Chris Paul, basically saying that he wasn't worth shit anymore.
I mean,
and he single-handedly killed them last game.
I mean, let's not act. I mean, everyone thought Chris Paul was washed. Sure. I mean, even us to an extent kind of thought he was kind of washed already. And it's very obvious he's not fucking done, not even nowhere near done. I mean, he's still the point guard.
But what's the most important thing that happened to Chris Paul this year? It's the fucking health. He didn't get hurt all year.
Yeah.
And what always happened to Chris Paul with the Rockets? He would get hurt, and then they went to shit. I think we both agree, but even me, I'm a big advocate of the Rockets should have won a championship, I believe.
Yeah.
2 years ago?
The first when Chris
CP3
Paul got hurt
year.
And he missed game 6 and 7.
Correct. I'm a number one fucking guy on that fucking bandwagon. They should have won that year. Then they would have won it all.
They would have gone up against LeBron, and that Rockets team would have beat that Cleveland team.
Correct. The year after they had something, it was not quite all there.
The year after they should have beat the Warriors. I mean, they had no KD, and they choked.
Correct. So those Rockets teams, they were amazing, I would say. And then I guess for them, it just became like, we need someone that's not going to get hurt, that's actually going to be there. Let's swap him for Russell Westbrook. And it's not like it didn't work because the Rockets team is good.
Yeah.
But we saw basically the Holocaust scenario, or like the worst possible thing that could happen.
We saw what Russell Westbrook does. At the end of that game, just turnover after turnover, throwing up bricks. It's like, to begin with, I mean,
he had 1 million turnovers, I believe.
Yeah. Why, if you're James Harden, go get the ball, man. Are you not supposed to? Is that not your team? Are you not supposed to be the best player on the floor? Go get the fucking ball and win the game.
They fell apart.
But he's not even trying to make an Chris Vernon from the Ringer put it up. It was like 3 possessions at the end of the game where he's just standing there. And he has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on him. Cook him. Go get the ball and cook him. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be the best player on the floor.
Shai's a good defender, but come on.
The best scorer in the league? Come on, man.
Yeah. There's no one that you can put on James Harden where it's like, he can score on anyone.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to score on you, you're going to foul him because he's the fucking best at doing that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why at the end of that game, Russell Westbrook even had the ball in his hands.
I don't even know why Russell Westbrook was on the fucking floor.
I mean,
no, I'm being dead serious. Why is he on the floor? If he's going to do shit like that, you take Russell Westbrook out the fucking game. And then I saw people trying to like defend the Rockets, like, oh, D'Antoni was trying to see if he can trust them, blah, blah, blah. Guy, it's game 6. You can close out OKC.
This is no time.
This is no time to be testing shit out. That's bullshit. He's not testing anything.
And then you fuck around and lose this game, and what? You tested it out and you fucked up.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Don't try to give them a fucking it's every year. Like I'm sorry, like it just gets me mad. Every year, like people come up with excuses for the Rockets. And it's like, no, they just choke. Year after year, they choke and they choke and they choke. And Harden hasn't proved shit.
They arguably could have 2 rings by now. They for sure probably should have had 1. They have none. And this year, they're going to Game 7 against the Rockets. I mean, against the fucking Thunder, who were supposed to be tanking, led by a point guard that they thought was washed, and they basically fucking got rid of him just to get out of his contract, right? And he's fucking taking them to town. And he did the exact opposite of what Russell Westbrook did last night. In the fourth quarter, he was fucking amazing. He was torching them.
Disrespectful. I mean, getting switch after switch onto Covington and torching him. The smack on the ass. I mean, disrespectful.
I mean, this guy's one of the best, like, trash talkers or, like,
he whooped out his cock and said, here, have it.
Just a little light tap on the forehead. And it's funny to me because early in the series, the Rockets were handing it to them. And everyone's like, oh, the small ball, it's fucking perfect. Covington and Jeff Green are the best centers in the league. And then what the fuck happened? Oh, what happened? Cue Mickey. What happened? They're about to fucking lose. I don't think they lose, by the way.
I hope. I
can't see them losing this game.
If they don't come out, if James Harden doesn't come out and say, give me the fucking ball, I'm going to drop 50 on their heads and we're winning this game and we're going to blow them out. If he doesn't come out and do that, they're going to lose. Because if it's a close game, if it's 5 minutes left in the game. I
don't want it to be less than 5 points and Chris Paul has the ball in his hand.
If it's 5 minutes left in the game and the Thunder are down by 5, the Thunder are winning that game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
The Thunder are 100% winning that game. And I'll bet everything I have on that.
Is it wrong to say that they were playing better without Russell Westbrook? Because they kind of
that's
when they were killing them. James Harden by himself and the plethora of swingmen playing center and everyone's fucking flying all over the place.
I mean, look, man, I don't want to shit on Russ, but Russ is Russ at the end of the day. He takes bad shots. He turns the fucking ball over. That's what he does. And on top of that, he's coming back from an injury. And you already have him on a minutes restriction. Why is he in the game?
Whose legacy is more tarnished? Let's say they lose this game. Is it worse on Russ or worse on Westbrook? I think it's Westbrook.
You mean Harden?
Sorry, yes. Westbrook or Harden? Whose legacy takes a bigger hit? I think Westbrook.
Wait, why?
Because it just goes to prove that no matter how good the team is, he always finds some way to fuck it up. Because then you gave him KD. He ruined that. And every single time the Thunder would lose, it's like because Russell Westbrook refused to let KD
give him the ball,
to give him the fucking ball, and they would end up losing. They also blew. They were another team that should have beaten the Warriors and didn't, and you can blame that one on Westbrook too. You give him the super team in OKC, Paul George MVP caliber year. They fucking choked in the first round and got clamped up by Joe Ingles.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess maybe you can't blame that all on Russ, but still.
No, but still.
And then you give him this year. You give him James Harden. You give him this team, which is playing fantastic. He comes in and absolutely fucking drops an atomic bomb on the fourth quarter and ruins the game.
I mean, he lost that game for them.
Sure, yeah.
No, single-handedly.
Shit.
AI even tweeted out, and I don't know if you saw it, and he deleted it.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it's just facts. Like, that's not even like a hot take. That's not like shitting on Russ or anything. That's just a fact. Anyone that's a basketball fan and watched that game knows that he single-handedly lost that game.
Which is why I think that if they lose this game, it reflects more poorly on Russ.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's like, okay, the common denominator in all of these collapses and all of these series is Russ.
Yeah.
So he better fucking hope he pulls this one out. Fantastic player.
Top
MVP.
Yeah.
Top 50 player, probably all time when it's all said and done. Great fucking player. But holy shit. You cannot trust that man in the fourth quarter and when it counts.
Nope. And
tough scenes.
Everyone's getting fired, by the way.
If they lose?
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone. So. I mean,
maybe not Murray.
No, he's getting fired.
Murray too?
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I wouldn't doubt it if then they try to trade Russ or trade Harden. I wouldn't doubt it. That guy has already said he doesn't want to pay top tier money just to lose in the first round. He said right when he bought the team, that's the first thing he said.
Oh, the owner said this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And on top of that new owner, he's all his money is from restaurants, I believe, or something like that. And with the pandemic and all that, he's not doing too good of money, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So everyone's getting traded, everyone's getting fired. I expect the Rockets to look a lot different next year. Maybe
I don't think they lose, by the way. I think they pull this one out.
I don't think they do, but I want them to.
That's toxic.
Man, I'm just over it. I'm done with the Rockets, bro.
I'm also very petty, and I think it's a fantastic story if Chris Paul bounces them in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I want
to see. The amount of shit that guy is gonna talk, and like he's gonna loom that over their heads forever.
100%. I mean, he started it at the end of that game in the interview. Some
Oh, yeah.
people are built for this, and some people are not. That was like
That's so good.
that was a subtweet straight to Russ and straight to Harden.
That's so good.
It was like, yo, I can do this shit, and you guys can't. I mean,
Shouldn't have got rid of
I
him.
want to. I don't think they lose, but I would love to see them lose because it's gonna be a fucking shit show. I'm also over. I'm over them experimenting and like the fucking
and being the guinea pigs of the entire league.
And we're gonna shoot 70 fucking threes and we're gonna miss 27 in a row and throw against the Warriors. I'm just over it, dog. Just play regular basketball, please. Please.
I feel like you have a personal vendetta against.
I do. No, I'm over it. I'm done with the Rockets. I'm over it. I'm
all right. No. I get it. I still think
you want to touch on?
Oh, no. I'm just going to say if the Rockets win this game, I think they put up a better fight against the Lakers.
Oh, 100%, of course. I mean, if OKC moves on to the Lakers might sweep that.
Sure. I think if they play the Rockets and the Rockets play that how they're supposed to, that can easily be 6 or 7.
Yeah, 100%.
The Lakers haven't shown me shit this postseason, but yeah. And that's all I have to say about that.
No, I agree.
And that's on that.
Oh, before we close it out, we have to go back to the Heat thing. I just remembered. Did you see Joel Embiid's tweets?
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, did I see them.
You think he misses Jimmy?
I saw some shit that said that he hadn't tweeted in like a month. And he tweeted like twice in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
he was tuned in.
Jimmy had him hard as a rock, Pops.
Oh, Jimmy had me hard as a rock. I was fucking...
Oh, man.
I was basically moaning in my room. I was feeling all sorts of emotions. So I get it. I understand. Jesus. It's nice to dream sometimes, you know?
We'll you know what? I saw something interesting I have to show you. Back to the Rockets. Did you know this? So apparently the whole thing about Harden just standing there and not doing shit, Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer brought out stats, and it's fucking wow. So he says, I'll give you the exact quote. The fact that Westbrook assisted Harden only 35 times this season and Paul Digg only 29 and 39 times in his 2 seasons in Houston is shocking, and it's a reflection of how little Harden moves in Houston's offense. So when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's just standing there. Doing nothing. Pretty much.
Somehow it works. Most of the time.
I don't understand it. How
That's really a staggering stat because 30 assists is nothing throughout the course of a year.
Nothing.
That means that he's like getting maybe like 1 assist every like 4. He's getting an assisted basket from his point guard like once every fucking, I don't know, 2 games. Once every 3 games.
Yeah.
So if he's not cooking someone and dishing it out to the corner to PJ Tucker, if it's Westbrook or if it was Paul in the past, all of those assists were going to everyone else because Harden was like standing at the half court logo.
Where his dick is in sand. Yeah. Doing nothing.
I feel like Harden's
people want to say that this guy's going to be better than fucking D-Wade. I'm fucking pissed. I'm over it.
Come on. I feel like, I don't know. If he moved a little bit, would he be better? I don't fucking know. Maybe that's part of his game. But you feel like it would benefit someone. Move. Go to a corner. Slash. Dunk on someone. When's the last time James Harden dunked on someone?
Oh.
Oklahoma City, maybe?
Long time.
I don't know.
It's been a minute.
That's a crazy-ass stat, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, man. The playoffs have been good. Heat in 6.
Yep.
It's a wrap.